Today we are playing Simic Ritual. This deck is relying on Birthing Ritual, which, if this is in play, at the beginning of your end step, you get to look at the top 7 cards of your library. Then you may sacrifice a creature, and if you do, you may put a creature card with mana value X plus 1, where X is the sacrificed creature's mana value, in play. And the ultimate target for this is an Abhorrent Oculus. The way to get there is you have all these 2 mana value creatures. For example, Coiling Oracle, which allows you to ramp up. There's a Fiddle Tip, which allows you to draw a card. There's Icefang Quaddles, which also draw a card when they enter. Bond Prophet, similarly. Shardless Agent cascades into a possible second creature or Birthing Ritual. 3 Subtlety, 2 Thunder Trap Trainer. So you're really trying to control the early game, because every time you cast a creature, you possibly have a counterspell up with a Flare of Denial. All your creatures are blue except for Endurance. And they can be sacrificed to Flare of Denial. So you're really trying to control the board early on until you have a Birthing Ritual in play and 1 or more creatures. Then you're trying to go with the Oculus. And Oculus has a really nice ability where you get to manifest Dread at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, possibly outvaluing your opponent, because every time you cast one of those 2 mana creatures, you get to draw a card. This deck is really fun to play. You can play it in different ways. You can go for a more controlling game plan. You could go for a more aggressive game plan, trying to cheat Oculus into play as soon as possible. Besides getting Oculus off a Birthing Ritual, once you have a Birthing Ritual in play and you start sacrificing creatures, you also start to fill up your graveyard pretty quickly. And especially if you sack 1 or more creatures to a Flare of Denial, that can go pretty fast. You also play 4 snow-covered basics. This works nicely with Icefang Quaddle, because once you have 3 or more snow permanents in play, this thing has Death Touch, and it could deal with any large beater on the battlefield. There's several slight variations of this deck. This deck plays 2 Thunder Trap Trainer. This allows you to find a Flare of Denial, Counterspell, Force of Negation, possibly Sink into Stupor, or a Birthing Ritual. This is a flex slot. You could also increase the number of Bond Prophets, Endurances, other creatures. Could even play more counterspells. And because all of these counterspells are 3 mana or more, you don't get to cascade into them with Shardless Agent, which is quite important. That's why this deck also doesn't play regular counterspell or other 1 or 2 counterspells. 1 or 2 mana value counterspells. There are also some builds that have a certain number of Neoform in there. Neoform acts as sort of a Birthing Ritual where you get to tutor something. Could work well, but Shardless Agent could possibly cascade into it. And if you have no creatures in play, Cascade resolves before the Shardless Agent resolves. So then your Neoform is a bit of a dead card if you would cascade into it. But it is also possible to play a few Neoform in this deck. Mana base, pretty straightforward. It's Simic. You play 2 Hedge Mazes because you basically have no turn 1 play. So you would ideally lead on a fetch land and then surveil with a Hedge Maze. Sideboard, there's 2 Collector Oof, which works nicely with or against Affinity, against artifact decks. 4 Consigned to Memory, mostly for big Eldrazi decks. 1 extra Endurance in case you're facing a deck that makes use of the graveyard. Another Force of Negation for possible combo decks Force of Vigor to deal with Ursa Saga, to deal with other artifacts. 1 additional Harbinger, you play 1 in the main, you could play more in the main. You could find this off of your Birthing Ritual, as well as hardcast it. Could take an opponent by surprise. Make sure you have fetched at least 1 or 2 forests before your Birthing Ritual trigger, because if you do find a Harbinger as one of your possible targets, or maybe the only target, you don't want to mana screw yourself, because you wouldn't be able to cast your endurances anymore, your oracles, your quaddles. So make sure you fetched at least 1 forest before you possibly let Birthing Ritual trigger. 2 Mystical Disputes also works nicely against counterspell decks. This is a 3 mana value card, so you wouldn't cascade into it, but it would only cost 1 blue mana if it targets a blue spell, such as a counterspell. And 3 Stern Scolding. This is a 1 mana spell. I have cascaded into it with Shardless Agent, which is a bit of a bummer, but this is more or less necessary if you're facing decks like Energy, Boros Energy, low to the ground creature decks. Really allows you to deal with that if you're on the draw or even on the play, because you don't really have turn 1 plays other than after sideboarding with Stern Scalding. This is possibly worth the risk. So if you do board this in, maybe you want to go down on the Shardless Agents. One thing I'd like to mention is that Fiddle Tip, if you find it off the Birthing Ritual and it comes into play, it actually allows you to draw 2 cards. Alright, let's play. We are on the play. We have our Birthing Ritual, an Oracle, Subtlety. Let's keep. We'll lead on the Polluted Delta. To Surveil. And get access to green. Opponent just passes, sure. We're down to 19. Go with a Hedge Maze. Hopefully our opponent will pass priority, so we could surveil. Another land. I think we could use that. Let's keep that. We'll just go island to save our, preserve our life total. Let's see what we get of the Oracle. Possibly pitch the Sink into Stupor to Subtlety. We'll just pass priority, pass the turn. Opponent is fetching as well. Lush Portico. Let's see what they get. They put a Scribe Ranger into the yard. Thalia, do we care about that? I'm not sure. Probably not. Shardless Agent. We'll just fetch a basic forest here in case we find a Harbinger. Oh, we can only get an island, alright. And we'll just get the island. and go a birthing ritual. And then hopefully find something nice off the ritual. Not much. We'll just go with the Thunder Trap Trainer. See what we get. Nothing. Alright. 2 Oculi and 1 Harbinger to the bottom. So unlikely we would see that again with the ritual. Unless we get to shuffle somehow. Opponent might hit us for 2. Yep, we won't block. Go Knight of the Reliquary. I think we should just subtlety this. Next turn we will go shardless and attack. Let's see what our opponent does. Probably puts it on top. Puts it on the bottom, that's good. We have a Brazen Bower. If we do cascade into another birthing ritual, we would have to pay 1. So let's first attack. And then we will play the Boseiju and the Shardless Agent. Cascade. Thunder Trap Trainer. It's a good pickup. Refill our hand with some non-creature. Spell. Flare of Denial is good. We can pay for it as well. Let's see. Oculus, hopefully. Don't find an Oculus. Do find an Endurance. Ice Fang, Quaddle. Coiling Oracle. I think we should take the Endurance here. And could put our stuff at the bottom. I think we'll just go after the opponent's stuff. So we have a Flare of Denial up. We can pay the 1. Opponent cannot really attack. Giver of Ruins. That is a dangerous card. So we will Flare of Denial. Pay the 1. And sack the Thunder Trap Trainer. Noble Hierarch, sure. Opponent doesn't attack, alright. Go to combat with Endurance. Could hold a Sink into Stupor up, or we could go Fidiblip. I think we should put more power into play. Draw an Ice Fang Quaddle. Yeah, let's guess that too. Gives us more options and we draw a card. There's a Misty. So we possibly have Death Touch with Quaddle. We will go with the Channeler and bounce the Noble Hierarch. All right. Opponent does attack. We could double block. I think our creatures are more valuable. Opponent is destroying their own land, okay. That's interesting. Okay. We'll find a Ramunap Excavator. Okay. They shock in the Temple Garden. Sure. Think we could maybe not fetch here. Let's not fetch. Leave our options open. We'll just go to attacks. Swing here, swing here. Opponent might block one of our creatures here, so let's just swing with these. Could sink into Stupor. Noble Hierarch. Could just hold it up. I think we should just shock in the breeding pool. That gives us more options. Let's see what we find. Find an Oculus, Bond Prophet, and a Shardless Agent. We will go with the Oculus. And we will sack the Channeler. We are manifesting. Find an Oracle. Yep, let's just see. We have a Sink into Stupor up. We have a Brazen Borrower. Opponent plays the Ghost Quarter. Plays a Path to Exile. Targeting the Oculus, alright. Could sink into Stupor that. Then they would just replay it. We would get a basic forest here. Keen-eyed curator. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Opponent attacks, no. Attacks with the Thraben Inspector. We would just double block here. Okay, let's our Shardless Agent live. Interesting. Opponent passes a turn. We will get a Hedge Maze. Ice Fang has Death Touch. Flare of Denial. Yeah, that's a good pickup. Let's see. We will swing with Endurance and the Quaddle. Opponent doesn't block, okay. We will just hold on to our cards. What do we find? Another Oculus and a Harbinger. Harbinger is probably deadly here. Cannot go after our lands, they cannot cast anything. Yeah, let's get a Harbinger. Alright. Pass the turn. Opponent does activate. Keen-eyed Curator, sure. Can always bounce it. Does have access to green and white through Noble Hierarch. Maybe we should have bounced that. That's okay. Opponent is not attacking, okay. We will just bounce the Keen-eyed Curator. And the Brazen Borrower. Okay, they scoop it up. So Stern Scalding might be good. Harbinger seems to be good. Endurance could be good. I think the two forces are not that great. We will go down. One Channeler. One Shardless Agent. Submit. We will be on the draw. This hand could work. We do take quite some damage. But we do have a stern scolding. Opponent just passes. Fine. I think we should go... No, we do need access to green mana. So we should just use the Verdant Catacombs to shock in a breeding pool, probably. If we need to use our Stern Scolding. Could have gone Misty, blue source, and this Verdant Catacombs, green source. Could have worked. Let's see. Opponent is fetching. Stoneforge Mystic, yep, that will be Stern Scolding. Fetch Shock. Stern Scolding. Opponent does have a basic Plains. We could get an island here. Then we cannot hardcast an Endurance. But we gotta preserve our life total a bit. We will go Coiling Oracle, hopefully putting a land into play. Poseiju, that's good. We will pass the turn. Next turn we could go Birthing Ritual, another Oracle, possibly have to shock in or sink into Stupor. Opponent shocks in an Overgrown Tomb. Tireless Tracker, yeah sure. Okay, let's go Oracle, see what we get. Harbinger. So we will shock in this land and go Birthing Ritual. We're down to 13. We won't attack. We find Icefang, Quaddle, Coiling Oracle. Shardless Agent. Could go Shardless Agent, block the Tireless Tracker. I think we'll just want to ramp here. Go with the Coiling Oracle. Find a sink into Stupor. Just pass. Could double block. Ramunap Excavator. We'll just double block here if they attack. Then go Harbinger. We could even go Oculus. Yep. Double block here. Okay, Tireless Tracker is gone. We find a Bond Profit. So we could go Harbinger. Opponent would likely fetch a basic. Could go Oculus, but then we cannot really use Birthing Ritual. Could go Bond Profit. Let's go do that first. See what we draw into. Flare of Denial, that's good. Let's go with an Ice Fang Quaddle as well. Hopefully draw a land here. We don't, we will just play this. We won't pay for it. Go to our end step. And we find Thunder Trap Trainer. Yeah, we will sack the Bond Prophet. Go with the Trainer. Find nothing. 2 Oculi at the bottom. 1 in hand. Opponent is fetching. Basic. Could keep fetching. You do attack. Could take 2. Yeah, let's take 2 here. Now we'll just block with this Thunder Trap. Still have a Flare of Denial up. They sack a clue, meaning they don't have much to cast. Subtlety. I think we should go Harbinger, Oculus. Let's first attack. We do take 3 in the process. That's our best way out. So we'll go Harbinger. Opponent will fetch, probably a swamp. Another forest. Do have all the colors now. They don't get to loop all their lands out of their graveyard. You'll go Oculus, go down to 10. You might have a Path to Exile. We'll just get rid of Bond Prophet, Thunder Trap, the Oracles, and 1 land here in case we use Endurance somehow to put our stuff back. Okay, let's see. Find another Harbinger. Another Coddle. I think we should go Harbinger. Okay, we will pass the turn. Opponent Path to Exiles or Oculus. We will flare that, sacrificing our Harbinger. They flash in some kind of creature here. Do we care about that? Protection from blue. Could just play that next turn. Yeah, let's just subtlety this. Opponent puts it at the bottom. Okay, we will manifest. Not sure if we can flip this Ice Fang Quaddle, so we'll just go with the Thunder Trap. Not sure if we have to pay 2 or the exact colors, but our opponent scoops it up. We are on the play. We have a Misty Rainforest. We have 2 Coiling Oracles, I'd say. Let's keep. Play the Misty and pass. We will Surveil at the end of our opponent's turn 1. Opponent draws. Shocks in a Steam Fence and casts a Preordain. Yep, we don't have counter magic in our hands, so we should let that happen. Or opponent is possibly on prowess. They bottom top. Maybe looking for a second land. We'll go to 19. Get a Hedge Maze. Find a forest, we'll keep that. So we don't have to shock in our Sink into Stupor as our land drop. We will go Oracle. Find a Subtlety, it's a good pickup. Let's pass. Opponent fetches. A basic mountain. Plots a Slick Shot show off, that's fine. Force of Negation. So we could either play the Endurance to block Slick Shot, or we try ramping up more with Oracle. In case we want to go the Endurance route, we do have to deal 3 to ourselves. We have a Subtlety up that we could use against Slick Shot. Let's try to go Oracle, see what we get. Channeler. We'll play this tapped. We could hold back Oracle as a chump blocker, but I think we should start dealing some damage here. So we could Subtlety the Slick Shot, possibly pitching the Oculus, since that's a bit of a dead card at the moment. Opponent does know about our Subtlety. There's a Swift Spear. That's fine. Could just jump it. There's a Preordain. We could force this. We would lose out on some cards though. Yeah, let's not force this. Opponent tops. Alright. Cast a bauble, sure. Not sure why our opponent is going after all these prowess triggers. Could just jump block, unless they have a gut shot or something. Lock. Does opponent have Delirium? No. For a possible Darcy. They might have Delirium soon though. Opponent surveils. Keeps the card on top. Find a shardless agent. I think we should just sit back and possibly flash in the endurance. We'll just play the stepped. We have a subtlety, we have a force. Just flash in the endurance. Oracle could be a jump blocker. We just gotta get rid of their creatures. Expressive iteration. Yeah, we will force that. I think we'll just pay for it to minimize our loss of cards. Might have to pitch something to the subtlety already. We have 3 cards in the yard now, possibly 4 after blocks. So we could possibly also hardcast the Oculus. Are we blocking this? I don't think so. You can afford to take 2, possibly 3. Maybe we will find a birthing ritual. They do have a mutagenic growth, okay. We're taking some damage here. Lightning bolt. No, they don't lightning bolt. Go down to 14. Okay. So they have a lightning bolt in hand. Subtlety is online. Find a misty rainforest. Could use the misty to surveil something into the yard. Block with the Oracle, then we have 6 cards in our yard for Oculus. Endurance could block the Slick Shot. Could also flash in a subtlety. I think we should just pass here. We should just let them try and make use of their spells as much as possible. Opponent has 5 cards in hand, still has that Slick Shot show off plotted. They do fetch right away. Or a basic mountain. There's the slick shot. Let's just cast the subtlety. Slick shot. They could have a mutagenic growth. A metamorphose. Then they do put it on top of their library. They could cast it again. They do have a lightning bolt. They cast a preordain. So they will likely cast slick shot again. And bolt our subtlety. And we will be taking a lot of damage. Let's see. Maybe endurance was better. And holding our subtlety back, pitching a channeler or shardless agent. They cast a lava dart. Okay. That works. Possibly bolt the subtlety here. Yep. So we will take a lot of damage here. They do have their slick shot show off in hand. I could flashback their lava dart. Don't think they would right now. We will be taking 4. Yeah, that's fine. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. One of them is a slick shot show off. We will just cast our Oculus next turn. Hopefully we can pick up another land. They do have a Darcy. Okay. So they have a slick shot show off left in their hand. Good lava dart. We will surveil, hopefully pick up another land. Then we could go endurance and Oculus. That's another land. Do have to shock that in though. That's a bit unfortunate. Do we want to play endurance right now? Yeah, I think so. So we'll go cast this. Targeting them. Get rid of their lava dart. And their Darcy wouldn't fly anymore. We will shock in the breeding pool, go to 7. Exile our complete graveyard here. Gain another blocker in their upkeep. Take the birthing ritual, just to not convey too much information. We will likely start beating them with the Oculus next turn. Opponent is thinking. Their slick shot in their hand is kind of mute. They don't declare any attackers. They don't cast anything either, holding on to the slick shot. Okay. Let's see what we draw here. Waiting for our opponent to pass priority. Also try to attack with everything. Then they go to 3 if they don't block, but then we will die on the backswing. Opponent's graveyard is empty. Birthing Ritual, that's a good pickup. I think we will just swing. Need to deal some damage here. Oculus, good swing with the endurance, but let's hold that back as a blocker. Opponent thinking, doesn't block, alright. We will first cast the Birthing Ritual in case they have a Spell Pierce or something. And then we will go Aether Channeler and create a bird creature token. Just to have another flying blocker. Hopefully we will find an Oculus off of the Birthing Ritual. Icefang Quaddle. Doesn't have Death Touch, but it is a flyer. Could also go with Fiddle Tip and draw 2. I think we should play it safe and just sack the Channeler, take the Quaddle. We draw a card, just to have another flying blocker. Okay, we draw another Quaddle. Get to Manifest Dread. We will take the Shardless Agent. So we could block the Slick Shot, unless they have Violent Urge. There's another Swift Spear. Okay. Next turn we could just deal 7 in the air. There's a Slick Shot. Still have 1 card in hand. Preordain, okay. Yep, some triggers. Opponent might be looking for a mutagenic growth, a bolt. Doesn't surveil the card into the yard. If they attack, they are likely dead next turn. They bottom top. Alright. They swing with everything, okay. We will just, well, they could have a mutagenic growth here. Just block the slick shot, block the Darcy. Block the Swift Spear. Another Swift Spear. I think they're dead on the backswing. We don't take any damage, alright. Opponent concedes. Alright, let's board in the Stern Scoldings and Endurance. Haven't seen a Quarry Steel Cutter, but it is likely. So maybe we want to bring in a Force of Negation or Force of Vigor. Harbinger is not that good. They have enough basic mountains in their deck. I think we can go down one Fiddle Tip. Fibble Tip. Get rid of the two Thunder Trap trainers. Game 2, we are on the draw. Yeah, let's keep. Opponent fetches. Shocks in a Steam Vents and casts a Preordain. Okay. They bottom top. Pick up a Breeding Pool. I think I'd rather Surveil here. Place another fetch land. Casts a Darcy. Yep. Passes the turn, no bobble. Okay. That's good. No real pressure so far from our opponent. Two types in the yard. We find a Flare of Denial. Yeah, that could be useful. I think we should just shock in the Breeding Pool. We could fetch a basic, but maybe we want to Surveil at some point. We do have our flare online. And we get to ramp hopefully here. No, we find a subtlety. Okay. Let's open our opponent's graveyard. They fetch. Get a surveillant likely, yep. Keep a card on top. They might go expressive iteration. We will flare that. We don't want them to dig too deep. And add more types to the yard. We could deal with a 1/1 Darcy till we find our answer. Endurance, Oculus, they do shock in a steam vents, go down to 14. Tap blue-red for a Cory Steel Cutter. Yeah, we will flare that. Let's first let the surveil happen. They keep their card on top. So Darcy is still not online. We will just flare this. Don't want to deal with a Cory Steel Cutter. We do add another type into the yard. We do add a type to the yard, so opponent has 3 types now. Instant would give Darcy flying. There's Swift Spear. We could subtlety that. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. Yeah, let's just subtlety that. Pitching a Shardless Agent. Could be harder to deal with when it's on the battlefield. Next turn we could flare it. We could have flared it right now, but I'd rather have our opponent draw it again. In case they top it, of course. They do top their Monastery Swift Spear. We will take 1 off the Darcy. Down to 16. Okay. Another Flare of Denial, so we will just fetch basic forest here. Don't think our opponent has a Blood Moon. Now let's just get an island. We'll go Shardless. Blue, green, blue. Cascade. Hopefully into a Birthing Ritual. Yup. It's a very nice pickup. And let's see what we get off of this. If we do flare the Swift Spear, Darcy will be online. Something to keep in mind. Find an Oculus. Yeah, that's too good to not take. It will add another blocker to the board and we can easily block the Darcy with our 5/5 flying creature. Get to manifest. take the shardless and pass. Could just chump block with our manifest token, manifest creature token. They do cast Expressive Iteration. Wish I could flare that, but the Oculus is more valuable. Keep their top card top of their library. Opponent finds a bauble off of the Expressive Iteration. They might cast it post-combat, second main, to avoid surveilling a fourth type into the yard. They might also have a lightning bolt, hoping that we would block with our Oculus. In case they do give Darcy flying. Or not, they could just go to combat, swing with a 1/1, try to ult the Oculus. They do cast the bauble pre-combat. That's fine. They surveil a land into the yard. They go to combat, they likely have a lightning bolt. We could block here with our shardless agent. Not sure if that's worth it. Opponent would bolt us. We lose the shardless agent. Could deal 2 to our opponent. Well, yeah, let's minimize damage here. We'll just block. See what our opponent does. They unholy heat the Oculus. Why didn't they do that before damage? Must have been a punt. No creatures on the battlefield. They possibly have a Swift Spear in the yard. Just swing. Ice Fang. Trigger. Boseiju. Could hold on to the Boseiju for Quarry Steel Cutter. We have flares. Let's just play this for turn. See what we get off the ritual. Could lose our flyer here. Could draw another card. Let's go Oracle, maybe we will find a land. And then we have our flares up. Find another ritual, okay. Opponent fetches a basic mountain. Cast a Swift Spear. Could flare this. We do lose our Oracle. I don't think we can afford this. Just sack the Oracle. Could bait this and have a slick shot, but we'll see. Yep, there's a slick shot. Okay. I do swing. Don't have any effect before damage. That's good. We're just taking one. Find a polluted delta. Think we have to flip our Shardless Agent. Could also hold mana up for Sink into Stupor. Or a Flare. Yeah, let's just attack. Could always sink the Slick Shot. We'll just surveil off of the polluted delta. Or cast a Birthing Ritual. Yeah, I'd rather surveil. Birthing Ritual is kind of useless with a 0 mana token here. Okay. Oculus at the bottom. We will sink the Slick Shot, likely. Let's first see what our opponent does. If they just deal 1 again, we won't sink it. They plot a Slick Shot show off, okay. Can afford to take 1 again. No effects before damage, sure. Might want to hold that on then to our sink into stupor. Opponent plots another slick shot, one card in hand. Let's see what we draw next turn. Force is good. I think we should just flip. Flip the Shardless Agent, so we have a target for a birthing ritual. We have a flare for one of the slick shots and a sink for the other one. We have enough blue. Yeah. We will swing for 2. Can't block the slick shots anyway. Opponent down to 7. See what we get off the ritual. Endurance. Yeah, let's get the endurance. Can block one of the slick shots. We will target them. Let's just pass. Could flare one of the slick shots, sink the other one. I think we're good. There's one of them. Flare. There's another one. Expressive iteration. Yeah, we should let that happen. We will likely lose our endurance. Do have a slick shot then. Find a Darcy, that's very unfortunate. Okay, so they cannot pump the slick shots any further. That's good. Oh no, their last card is not a Darcy. They exile the Darcy. So could possibly pump these slick shots even more. Might be looking for Delirium here. Basic Mountain, Darcy. Let's see. Draw a Misty. Cast a Birthing Ritual. Could try to swing. We would lose our blocker. Opponent is at 6. Let's just swing. Let's be greedy. Hoping we find a Quaddle or an Oculus, so we could block the Slick Shot. Could even find another snow-covered basic. Should have at least one more in the deck. Yeah, we have both. So then our Quaddle would have Death Touch. Let's see, 2 Birthing Ritual triggers. Find an Endurance and an Oculus. Could go with the Oculus. Endurance is nice for the trigger. Darcy might be online, but would only deal 3. I think we should play it safe and just go with the Oculus. We also get an additional blocker that way. Let's see what we get off of this. Trigger, nothing much. Alright, we will just pass. And we manifest Dread. Possibly, nope. I was hoping for another creature we could then flip, but this is fine. There's Slick Shot. Could have another Unholy Heat. They currently don't have Delirium. Have a Preordain. Surveil 1. Surveil a land into the yard, that's good news. Scry 2. They topped both. They have a bauble, so they do have delirium now. Slick Shot keeps growing. One more card in hand. If they sack the bauble, Darcy will get in. Slick Shot is a 5-2. Let's see. They do surveil an Unholy Heat into the yard, that's good. They sack the bauble. Looking at my top card. We might fetch. So let's look at our options. We could block the Darcy. It might have a mutagenic growth in hand. That would add 4 power to the Slick Shot, so it would be a 9-2. We can afford to take that. Oh, they don't. A Lightning Bolt brings us to 9. Makes this a 7, so they can't kill us. We'll just block the Darcy and take whatever hit of the Slick Shot. They are dead on the backswing. So, interesting attack here. Yep, and they are dead. Unless they have another Slick Shot in hand. They have a Murktide in hand, okay. So maybe the endurance was better to get. Will be a big Murktide. Opponent is at 3 though. Will be a 6-6 Murktide. Think we should hold off on fetching. We could thin our deck. Yeah, we'll go to 6. Yeah, let's just fetch. We don't want to draw more land. We need action here. Let's get the island. Just to have 3 snow-covered lands for a Quaddle. They do get to draw. Do find a land. It's pretty useless. Could swing, they easily block. We would have to pass here. Could afford one more Slick Shot hit possibly. Do have to block the Murktide. Cannot flip the Manifest. Let's see what we get off of the Birthing Ritual. Another Oculus. Could go with the Quaddle. Block the Murktide. They could easily deal with it with a Lava Dart, so we won't sack here. No subtlety. No, we have to pass. Do get to Manifest, possibly a creature that we could flip. Yep, that's really, really nice. Opponent has 2 cards in hand, could possibly pump the Slick Shot to a 5-2. They do have an Unholy Heat on the Oculus, sure. They don't have Delirium. Alright, that's a punt. They were too eager to cast the Unholy Heat. What is their last card? With the Oculus that we are about to flip, we can block the Slick Shot. And with the other one, we will block the Regent because it will die anyway. Opponent is thinking. There they go. Opponent still doesn't have Delirium, so they cannot really deal with our Oculi. Block the Slick Shot like this. And our Murktide like this. If they don't pump the Slick Shot, we get to keep the Oculus here. They don't seem to be pumping, so I think they are dead. Yep, they scoop. We are on the play. Yeah, let's keep. We have a few creatures we could cast. We have a Flare of Denial. We will Surveil. Opponent plays a Forest and a Utopia Sprawl. Could Boseiju that possibly. They name black. Edge Maze. Shardless Agent. Yeah, let's keep that. We'll shock in the Breeding Pool. Play a Thunder Trap Trainer. So our Flare is online. We don't find any non-creature, non-land card. Play another Forest and they pass the turn. Okay. Do find our Birthing Ritual now. Could go Boseiju Shardless. Boseiju the Utopia Sprawl. It's probably best. Get them off the black mana. Let's see what they do. They do get to search. There's a Bowmasters. Could find black mana. Let's just flare the Bowmasters here. Because we have quite a few cards that draw. Might not have been the best play. They have another Bowmasters, okay. Sure. Could have played that a bit better. Maybe we should have cast our Birthing Ritual and just try to find an Oculus. We are at 16, they are at 20. We're out of land. A surgical extraction. What are they surgical? Extractioning. Surgically extractioning. Thundertrap Trainer, we only play 2 of them, so that's fine. Opponent doesn't know what we are on, but they will know soon. Hopefully we can find another land here. Destroying their Utopia Sprawl was a bit of a punt. Find another flare. Could go Fiddle Tip. It will be pinged by the Bowmasters. But we get to draw a card, maybe get a land. And we would be closer to casting Oculus here. We do grow their army token, that's a land. I'll take it. And now we will just sit back. Could go Shardless Agent next turn. Opponent fetches. Basic Swamp. Cast a Shieldred. It's unfortunate. So they're gonna ping us for 2. We take 3. Yep, Bond Profit. Not super good. With a Shieldred and Bowmasters in play. Cascade, Ice Fang, Quaddle. Do get to draw. So we'll be pinged for 3, possibly 2. Yep. They do ping the Quaddle, okay. Next turn we can cast an Oculus. That's really good. Well, we might be dead actually. We take 3, it's 5. Yeah, we're dead. Let's concede here. Besieging their Utopia Sprawl was definitely a punt. Bring in the Harbinger. Stern Scolding. And probably get rid of the Endurances. Channeler. Fiddle Tip. Submit. 2 Oculi, 1 Subtlety. This is slow, but we'll just keep. We can pitch an Oculus to the Subtlety. Pass the turn. Opponent likely goes basic Forest, Utopia Sprawl. No, they don't. Don't have a Thoughtseize either. Okay. Ice Fang, Quaddle. Can just play that now to avoid the Bowmasters. Might have a Fatal Push though. We do get to draw. Opponent is thinking. Resolves. We draw a card. They push. Sure. Oracle, okay. Forest. Surgical extraction. Yeah, sure. Ice Fang Quaddle. You're scared of the Quaddle? They have all these pieces that are hate against drawing cards, so I don't fully understand why they surgical this. They still have a Bowmasters up. We could go Oracle. And then if we ramp, we could shock in the Sink into Stupor, go Birthing Ritual. And we don't find it. I think we should just play this step then. Pass the turn. They don't have a Bowmasters. Thoughtseize. Do we care about that? They could go after our Birthing Ritual. It's kind of useless anyway with the flare. Yeah, let's just let this happen. Might take an Oculus and extract it. Do take the Birthing Ritual, that's good. Harbinger doesn't do much. At the moment. Could play that. I think I'd rather go shardless with a flare up. Coiling Oracle, nice. Let's see. Island, that's good. Okay. So we have our flare, Force of Despair. Pitching an Assassin's Trophy. I don't think we care about that. Opponent is down to 2 cards. 3 now. Blood-backed. Targeting themselves. We will flare that. Don't want them to draw 2 cards. Okay. Find an Oculus. We only have 5 cards in hand. I think we'll just hold on to Subtlety. This is good. We will discard Harbinger to avoid a surgical extraction. Yeah. Do have black mana up. No flash in the Subtlety. No point in holding on to it. Doesn't seem like our opponent has any threats. Should just start beating down our opponent. Verdant Catacombs. Just attack. Let's cast this. Get rid of everything. If they would have a surgical extraction, they would have probably targeted the Birthing Ritual. We could surveil one more time. Let's do that. Seville twice actually. Get to manifest. Oracle is good. Assassin's Trophy on the Oculus, okay. Yep. We will get a forest in case we do play a Harbinger. Do we want to flip our Oracle? It might have a Bowmasters in hand. Yeah, I don't think we want to flip. We will surveil. Could flip it, and if they Bowmaster it, we have another card in the yard. Can go Oculus again. See, opponent might be thinking here. Still have 2 cards in hand. Might surgically extract something out of our yard. If they do target the Oculus in our yard, then we lose out on 2 cards in our hand and 2 really good threats against them. So we gotta avoid that. Surveil. Opponent is playing rather slow. Would get a warning at an RCQ or other competitive environment. So if we flip the Oracle now, they probably Bowmaster it. Then we have 5 cards in the yard. Do we care about the additional point of damage? I think we should just go for it. If we find a Birthing Ritual or Flare, we also have another target. That's good. I think we should just go to combat. Opponent doesn't have a Bowmasters. Fortunately, cast the Birthing Ritual here. Opponent might have a Fatal Push. They can only push the Oracle. It's unlikely we find another Oculus, since 1 is in our yard and 2 in our hands. To find another Subtlety. Yeah, we'll take it. Oh, that's a punt. We cannot take it, of course. Subtlety costs 4. Should have sacked our own Subtlety. Well, at least we have another card in the yard. That is a punt. Though we could get the Subtlety off of the Oracle. They both Seiju or Birthing Ritual, so we could go Oculus now. We will take the Hedge Maze and Surveil. Another Birthing Ritual, that's good. Let's cast the Oculus before they surgically extract it. Okay. Oculus resolves. We will swing for 3. Opponent down to 5. And we will cast the Birthing Ritual here. Opponent likely scoops. After seeing this, Force of Despair. Okay. Pitching a Shieldred. No cards in hand. Sure. Let's see what we get. Another Subtlety. Yeah, let's start filling the yard again. We have an untapped Subtlety. There's nothing to target. We'll just pass. If we can fill our yard quickly enough again, we can cast Oculus. Choke. Okay, interesting. Luckily we tapped our forests here. If we do find a Harbinger, then they're kind of screwed. Let's first see what we find before we Boseiju this. Oracle, Thunder Trap. Opponent is down to 2. I think this is fine. We'll just pass. Opponent might activate their Sanitarium. Yep. That's fine, we'll just discard the Oculus. We draw another Oculus, okay. Yep, they scoop. So they did board in some Island Hate. Could get a Force of Vigor. For that. Force of Negation might be good. Force of Vigor. Opponent does seem to have lots of basics, so we'll just get rid of the Harbinger. They seem to be playing around it anyway. We are on the draw. We have a 1-lander. We have to shock ourselves. We do have a force. We have a Force of Vigor and Force of Negation. If we could get the Oracle online. The Coddle is tricky because of Bowmasters. Yeah, let's try to keep this. Have two draws for a second land. Opponent kept their 7-2. Opponent plays a forest and a Utopia Sprawl. Let's force this. Just get rid of their stuff. I think shardless, even though it pitches to force a figure as well. Just want to keep him off the blue mana here, or black mana. We don't draw a land. That's no bueno. If we draw an island, we also have a problem. They thought sees us. Yeah, sure. Take the Oculus, most likely. Good surgical Oculus if they take the Oculus. Opponent is thinking about it. They take the force of figure. That means that they do have possible other sprawls in their hand. We find a stern scolding. This is not good. Are we gonna lose? Joke. Yup. That's another land. It's not useful to us. Just play it tapped. We need green mana. Okay, that's fine. Possibly draw a green source here. Nice. It is a tapped green source, but we will take it. Then possibly the Quaddle, because it doesn't have Death Touch for a while, and it draws. Yep. Okay. Shardless Agent. Just play the Hedge Maze. Thunder Trap. No, we want land. Opponent knows about the Oculus. Cannot surgically extract it. And just pass the turn, okay. Find another green source. Of course. Yep. So we should just get a basic forest here. So it untaps next turn. And we will go with Oracle, so we have a Stern Scolding up. Next turn we could go Shardless. Bowmasters, that's good. Just Stern Scolding that. We don't draw, so not sure why they went with Bowmasters right now. They both Sage you. Or land here. Okay. Yeah, we will take Forest, most likely, because it untaps. Yep. Opponent is down to 1 card. 2 cards. If we resolve this Oculus, then it's game over. Yep, there we go again. Oracle. We care about the Oracle. It does ramp us. I think we should discard the Shardless Agent here. The Assassin's Trophy our land here. Yeah, let's just flare that. This can be countered, right? Yeah. So next turn we will just cast our Oculus. Force of Negation, nice. Opponent has 1 card in hand. We will get rid of our surgical extraction targets here. Let's see. Manifest Dread. Subtlety. Could surgical the ritual, but we'll start beating them down. Filling our yard even more. Oracle means another Oculus next turn. Sure. Hold up a force. Find another land. We will just swing. That spell cannot be countered. Okay. Destroy the Oculus. Hopefully no surgical extraction. Nope. Just cast another one. We will exile Oculus, Birthing Ritual, Sink, Oracle. Stern Scalding, Force. No real targets for a surgical extraction. We could fetch, thin our deck. Could also surveil. I think we should just see what we get off the Oculus here. Ice Fang, that's good. We'll get a basic. No. Yeah, we could flip the Ice Fang. Let's see. They go Sanitarium again. Birthing Ritual. Yeah, we will just discard that. We want to hold on to our force. There they go. Force pitching Oculus. 4 cards. Oh, we don't have an Oculus anymore. Let's just surveil. Sink into stupor. We don't really have the mana, but we do have another blue source that way. Do we care if they do something to our Oculus? We're kind of screwed. We'll just bin that. Find another sink into stupor. Okay, let's go. Opponent down to 7. I think we will just shock this in. No, let's just play it. We manifest. Land. We draw and discard. Okay. Island. Opponent is scrambling and scoops. We are on the play. Let's see, we have 2 lands, Shardless Oracle, let's keep. We'll lead on the Polluted Delta and pass. Okay, opponent plays a Misty and passes. We will get our Hedge Maze. Find a Quaddle. Let's keep that. Just play the Polluted Delta and pass. If our opponent taps out, we will flash in the Quaddle. Let's get blue mana here. Hopefully draw a land. The Subtlety. The Ice Fang. Pitching a Flood Pits Drowner. Do we care about that? Probably not. Opponent is playing a similar kind of deck, so we have a mirror match. Think we should just bottom this. We're looking for a 3rd land. We have our own Subtlety. Could possibly flare their Birthing Ritual with our Subtlety. Keep their card on top. Go Birthing Ritual. Let's just pitch the Subtlety. Pitch the Channeler to the Subtlety and flare this. No Birthing Ritual for our opponent. We're down to 2 cards though. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. Let's see, Shardless Agent. Hopefully we can ramp here with the Oracle. It resolves. We do find a Surveil land, that's nice. Thunder Trap. We will just bin that and pass the turn here. Opponent fetches. gets a forest and goes shardless agent, sure. Find a Floodpits Drowner. Okay. Get to tap our Oracle, that's fine. Wasn't going to attack anyway. We find a land. Let's... oh no, we don't have a surveil land anymore. Just go shardless then. And we'll cast our Birthing Ritual. Opponent might counter this. They don't. Alright. That's really good. We will just get a basic forest. Since our opponent might have a Harbinger. Given the way they fetched. We will get our Oculus out. Just sack the Oracle. Okay. We manifest. Brazen Borrower. And we will pass. Opponent could have a sink into Stupor. To bounce our Oculus, but they need one more blue mana. There it is. They shock it in. Might hold a subtlety up. Find an Oracle. I think we should just swing. See what our opponent does. Ice Fang. Okay. It's not online. Do get to draw. Another Ice Fang, okay. Let's see. They block the Oculus, of course. They block the Shardless. Okay. Oh, yep. So their Ice Fang is a snow creature. So it did have Death Touch. Alright, that's unfortunate. We'll just go shardless. Cast an Ice Fang ourselves. Draw a card. Force of Negation, okay. It's nice protection against the Birthing Ritual. Let's see. Find another Oculus. We will sack our shardless agent. Get that Oculus. Could also go for an Ice Fang to make our Ice Fangs have Death Touch, but Oculus is better. So I'll just get this Force of Negation here. Opponent is 13 life. Ice Fang has Death Touch now. We will force this. Let's see if that resolves. Pitching an Oracle. They will likely counter this. They won't, alright. Do have a Dismember in hand. Will cost them 4 life. Targeting our Oculus, sure. They don't attack, okay. Find a Breeding Pool. Could just flip the Brazen Borrower here. Is that a useful play? Gets rid of one of their creatures. We'll just be non-greedy here. Is our opponent blocking? They are. No point in flipping this. Opponent does block both. Okay. No more creatures. Could have an Oculus in hand. Let's see what we get. Endurance, yeah, we'll take the endurance. Possible protection against an Oculus. And we will pass. Aether Channeler. Okay, what do they choose? Draw a card. Oracle, sure. Shardless Agent, okay. Find our own Shardless Agent. We will just swing. They will chomp block with the Oracle, most likely. Are they going to take this hit? No, they jump. We will cast our Shardless Agent. Thunder Trap is a good pickup. Let's see what we find. Maybe another ritual. Yeah, we'll put a Flare of Denial into our hands. Shardless resolves, okay. Let's see what we get. Another Oculus, another Endurance. Yeah, we will take the Oculus. Get to Manifest. Subtlety. Let's see. They cast Shardless themselves, sure. Let's see what they get. Birthing Ritual. Might have some counter magic. We'll go for it. We will sack our Shardless Agent. They have their own Flare of Denial, okay. So Birthing Ritual resolves, possibly finding an Oculus. One card in hand still. Let's see what they get. If they don't get an Oculus, we win here. We could flip the Subtlety and just attack for 8 in the air. He did find something. Okay, Fiddle Tip. Draw 2. Don't think that matters. Well, they could flash in an Ice Fang. Test Death Touch. Do we want to draw a card here, risking? not being able to flip the subtlety. Let's see, we'll just swing. Could always flip the subtlety later, depending on how they block. There's the Ice Fang. Yep, Ice Fang is online. So there goes our third Oculus. Okay, we will flip our subtlety. They have no more creatures, which is good. Okay. Still have 3 cards in hand though. Find another Oculus, alright. Yeah, we'll sack the Endurance. This is our last Oculus. Let's see. Find another creature here. Opponent plays a land, cracks it, surveils, possibly as a shardless agent or some card draw. There's their own Oculus, okay. So they're not that next turn. This could stabilize them. Likely won't sack this Oculus. Finding an Endurance would be the best for us to put stuff on the bottom of our graveyard. Find a subtlety. Could deal 3 to them. Yeah, we will just swing. Opponent has to block. Gotta go aggro here. They cannot afford not to block. Okay, they take 3. Sure. Go down to 2. We could go pawn profit, hold a subtlety up if we find another land. Yeah, let's risk it. Draw a card. Flare of Denial is good. Find an Ice Fang Quaddle. Yeah, let's sack our useless frog here. Draw another card. Shardless, okay. So we have a flare and a subtlety. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. They go shardless agent. That's fine. Find an oracle. That's fine too. Could still swing for 4 in the air. Find an Oculus that they cannot cast. do get a ritual trigger. So do we, at the end of our turn. Do find something. Find a Floodpits Drowner. Targeting subtlety. Okay. So we could swing for 1 here. Opponent will go Oculus next turn. We could Flare of Denial that. Or Subtlety. Would be nice to draw another land of the Ice Fang here. Well, let's try this. Can always pitch something to Subtlety. Another Flare of Denial, okay. Strap for land here. We'll probably sack the Subtlety because Floodpits can deal with it. That's very good. We will get the Endurance. We will target them, so their Oculus is useless. They will likely scoop. They won't scoop just yet. Either Channeler. Let's just flare that. No more creatures for you. No card draw. No bouncing. They sink or flare. Sure. Then we will just sack our Quaddle. Here. Opponent concedes. Okay. So we're up against a mirror match here. Let's keep our Quaddle. I think Harbinger is not really useful here. Let's get rid of that. We do want the Stern Scoldings. We want the Mystical Disputes. We want the Force of Vigor and the Force of Negation. Then we'll go down 1 Fiddle Tip. One Aether Channeler. Two Thunder Trap. One Endurance. Maybe one Force of Negation then. Let's try this. Ideally we would have some Stern Scoldings in hand, because our opponent only has 2 mana creatures. Have a Mystical Dispute. Yeah, we will keep this. We can ramp, we can counter something. We will lead on the Verdant Catacombs, of course. Possibly Surveil or have access to blue mana. Stern Scolding is even better than a Mystical Dispute. Unless they hold off and flash in their Ice Fang. They Surveil. Keep the card on top. We can make sure they don't have any creatures. Their flares are useless, and Birthing Ritual. We will just Shock in a breeding pool. Cast a Stern Scolding. Could have gotten a basic island for Ice Fang Quaddle, but do like to have access to both green and blue, at least for our first land. Find an Oculus. We'll just sit back. We can Mystical Dispute something, or just flash in the Ice Fang. They're shardless. Yeah, let's resolve. Let's let it resolve. Let's see. Find a Birthing Ritual. We can't exactly do anything about it. Maybe we will draw a flare. Nope. Alright. That's very unfortunate. It's kind of the best possible target of shardless. They just find a Oracle. That's good. Find a Subtlety. I think we will just attack since they won't block. They can't even block. We could go shardless ourselves, but I'd rather hold the Mystical Dispute up, I think. So we'll just cast this, see what our opponent does. Find a Flare of Denial, that is good. Verdant Catacombs pass. Opponent does have a Sink into Stupor. Might play it as their fourth land. They don't. They are not attacking, of course. Birthing Ritual, yep. Find an Aether Channeler. They might draw. Don't think they would bounce one of these. Create a bird creature token, sure. I think we want to surveil here. I could go after Ice Fang, having Death Touch, but I'd rather find another Oracle. Would allow to ramp more. No, I think we should start filling the yard for Oculus here. Find an Ice Fang Quaddle. Could hit our opponent for one. I think we'll just go shardless, see what happens. Birthing Ritual. Alright. That's pretty good. They are sinking the Birthing Ritual. We will just flare that. Sacking our Oracle. They Flare of Denial it themselves. Then we would just get a birthing Ritual into our hand. Not sure if that's a good play. They seem to go for it. Okay, we have a shardless agent. Oh, they just, I see, counter the Birthing Ritual, sure. Could go to combat. Opponent blocks. No. I'll just pass. This bird token cannot get anything off the ritual. Opponent has 8 cards in the yard. Might cast their own Oculus, but we could subtlety it. Keep a card on top. There's the Oculus. They might have a mystical dispute up, but we cannot afford to not deal with this Oculus. Let's exile an Oculus, since we're far from casting it. Only a mystical dispute or a consign would help them. Doesn't matter whether they top or bottom this because of ritual that triggers. They do top it. They fetch. Go Ice Fang Quaddle, so they do get to draw it. No, because they fetched. So they don't draw their Oculus. Alright. Ice Fang is online though. You do get another look at a creature. Would have to sack the Quaddle. And they don't. So no Oculus there. Force of negation. So we will cast the Oculus. Do we want to attack here? I think so. Let's try to get rid of their creatures here. Could have a flare themselves. If they block, they don't block. So they are holding their flare up. Then we will just flash this in, hopefully find a land. Nope. Well, at least we have our mystical dispute up and our force of negation. They cast an oracle. Yeah, that's fine. Could dispute it, but they can pay for it. We will block this. Get rid of their death touch creature. Cast another oracle. We will dispute that. Birthing ritual triggers. Find an Oculus, okay. Need some land here. Find land. I think we should just go with the Oculus though. Get rid of our oracles, mystical dispute, stern scolding. Don't have our force up anymore, but we do get to manifest dread. Opponent didn't have a counter. They do have a dismember. That's unfortunate. They are down to 10 though. They only attack with the Oculus. Yeah. We're down to 11. They have 2 cards in hand. Get their ritual trigger. If we draw another land, we could go ritual and have Force of Negation up. That would be best. They flash in an endurance. That's fine. They target themselves. Okay. They are not afraid that I'm drawing another Oculus, I guess. They find another Oculus here. It's kind of unfortunate. I don't think we can win this anymore. Find a subtlety. Let's just cast this birthing ritual. Opponent might have a flare. Yep. Does get rid of another Oculus though. So opponent can attack us for 9 next turn. Could possibly flip something. Let's see. We have a force, we have a subtlety. They flip. And we're dead. Alright. So I think we can just run it back as is. Mysticals are good. Subtleties are good. The Stern Scalding is good. Let's submit. We will be on the play. That's a lot of land, but we will take it. Opponent cannot do anything about our Oracle or Prophet. And we would have our flare up. Turn 3 we could go Agent. Opponent surveils. Keeps their card on top. We will surveil. Oculus. One, 2, 3 cards. Kind of far away from casting an Oculus. We'll keep it. Shock in this breeding pool. Go Oracle. We have flare up. If another Oracle, that's good. Yeah, Quaddle up. What do we want to do here? We could shock in a breeding pool and sink the Quaddle. Hit them for 1. Just cast another Oracle. Let's do that. Find a birthing ritual. We'll just swing for 1. There it is. Yeah, we will flare this because we don't want them to be able to flare anything. Just flare our non-attacker. Force of negation. Pitching a drowner. Okay. Sure. Are they blocking though? They are not. Okay, down to 17. 5 cards in hand, possibly a birthing ritual. We have 2 cards in the yard. They swing themselves. They pass. Okay. Stern Scolding. Could go Shardless. Hold Stern Scolding up. Even go Prophet. Let's just go Shardless, see what happens. Stern Scolding. Do we want to cast that counter Shardless? Then we have 4 cards in the yard. No, let's keep it in our library. It's the downside of Stern Scolding. We will play this, we will shock this in. We will just swing. We have our Stern Scolding up. Or 13 though. There's the Floodpits Drowner. Stern Scolding the thing. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. We are fetching. We have 3 cards in the yard. Not quite an Oculus yet. Opponent is not trying to give Quaddle Death Touch. Do ramp. Sink into Stupor. They shock it in, go down to 12. Don't attack and they just pass the turn. Do have a Flare of Denial. I think we could just go Pawn Prophet. See what happens. Bait them. We draw. We will just cast a Birthing Ritual. Might flare this, then we will flare them back. There's the flare. We will flare our Pawn Prophet. We could swing, but they might flash in a Quaddle. Double block Shardless. Could have a Dismember too. I think we'll just swing with the Shardless Agent, see what happens. Next turn we could cast Oculus. Go after Birthing Ritual. Sure. Get a Hedge Maze. Surveil 1. Ice Fang. Do we like an Ice Fang? could draw. Yeah, let's keep it. Could cast it and cast the Oculus next turn. They do block our Shardless Agent, that's fine. They have no creatures, 3 cards in hand. This is looking good. They go Shardless. They might have an Oculus in hand though. Find an Oracle. They do have an Oculus now. Need to find an answer to that Oculus. Start getting basics here. Just an island. Maybe give Quaddle Death Touch. Of course, we don't draw our Quaddle because we fetched. We shouldn't have fetched. I think we could just swing here, see if they block. They do block. Might have a flare as well. That would be really unfortunate. Stern Scalding. Bond, Oracle, land, Oracle. It resolves, that's good. We have a land here. Let's see what we get. Might have a Dismember. Sooner or later we find a Quaddle. Could flip that. Find a Shardless Agent. Still looking for that Birthing Ritual, I guess. Find a Stern Scalding as well. Alright. They don't cast it, obviously. What is their second card? They don't attack either. They have 1 Oculus in hand. Forest. Do we want to flip Ice Fang? I don't think so. Brazen Borrower. Yeah, I think we can just safely swing with the Oculus. We hold on to Brazen Borrower for their Oculus. Possible Birthing Ritual. Get to manifest another Oculus, alright. Yeah, I think we will win here. Let's see, opponent will likely cast their Oculus. Another Shardless Agent, sure. What do they find? An Ice Fang. It's not online. You get to draw. Find another land and cast their Oculus. That's what they are doing. Okay. Go to their end step. Bounce that Oculus. See if that resolves. Yep. Then we will... Well... Yeah, we could flash in our Brazen Borrower here. Have another flyer. Could have flipped our Ice Fang. Just flip our Oculus here. Flip our Ice Fang too. Attack for 4 in the air. Do lose out on our force of negation, but that's fine. Opponent cannot block anything. GG. We have 2 lands, a Birthing Ritual, and a Boiling Oracle. 3 cards we wouldn't be able to cast without drawing more land, but let's keep. We will go turn 1, fetch land, surveil, play the Oracle, Darcy, alright. Possibly up against Prowess. Let's see what we draw. Draw another land. We'll play the Polluted Delta as it finds our surveil land. Misty allows us to either fetch a forest or an island. We possibly have to conserve our life total here. Opponent Thought Scours. Let's open up their graveyard. Darcy might get flying soon, becomes a 3/3. But it doesn't, they don't even attack. Alright, let's fetch. Hedge Maze. Another land. I think I want to start filling the graveyard to possibly hardcast the Oculus. We draw another Oculus. So we'll just go Island, Oracle to ramp up. We draw Flare of Denial. That's an okay pickup. If we use it, we put 2 additional cards in the yard. Opponent Thought Scours again. There's no point in flaring this, I think. Although they could get their second land. They put a Cory Steelcutter in the yard. So we seem to be up against Prowess. Darcy has flying. Do we want to pitch Shardless to the Endurance? And block Darcy? No, we can afford to take 3. Seems like our opponent doesn't have their second land. That's fine. Another Misty. So we'll just go to combat and attack. We will fetch a basic forest, just in case we find a Harbinger of the Birthing Ritual. We could actually hold up Endurance as well, instead of going with the Birthing Ritual plan. That might actually be better, so let's just pass. See what our opponent does. Thought Scours themselves. Sure. Still looking for that second land, probably. Okay. No free spells in the yard. We'll just flash in this endurance. Target our opponent and block the Darcy. Alright. Opponent has to go to cleanup, discards an Arclight Phoenix. So we're actually up against Phoenix and not Prowess. Let's first go to combat. Hit our opponent for 4. Could go shardless, put more power into play, but I'd rather go with the Birthing Ritual. We'll just surveil here. Just to maximize our chances of finding an Oculus of the Birthing Ritual, we find another Endurance. Let's keep that because that's also a nice pickup of the Birthing Ritual, potentially. Yeah, so we'll go with the Endurance. It makes our Flare of Denial useless at the moment because they're not blue, but we do get rid of their Phoenix in the yard. And we have 2 3/4 beaters in play. Opponent scoops. Alright, so we'll definitely bring in the other Endurance. Could go with the Stern Scoldings against Darcy. Could bring in the Mystical Disputes against the Thought Scours. Don't really like that. I think we should go down one Fiddle Tip. Force of Negation is nice against a Fateless Looting. Harbinger could work, but not too sure about that. They likely have some basic mountains that they could play. We'll just go down to Thunder Trap. If we could just keep them... If we could just deal with their creatures, then we will win the game. So we're on the play again. 2 lands, Stern Scolding, 2 Oculi, and the Subtlety. Let's keep this. The Subtlety allows us to deal with a possible Darcy. And if they don't play that turn 1, we will just use our Stern Scolding. So they Do have a Fateless looting turn 1. Possibly discarding at least 1 Phoenix. And they don't, alright. Find a Coiling Oracle. I think we should go Hedge Maze turn 1. We won't have Stern Scalding up, but we still have our Subtlety. Another Oracle. Play this Oracle, ramp up. Yeah, let's keep it on top. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand. Fetches right away. Shocks in a Steam Fence. Casts a Slick Shot show, or plots a Slick Shot show off. Alright. So I think we should just play our Misty and say go. Holding a Stern Scalding up, possibly 2. And we also have a Subtlety. Taking more of a control role now. There's Slick Shot. I think we should just use a Stern Scalding. Darcy. Again, Stern Scalding. Just get a basic island here to preserve our life total. Without creatures, they can't do much. They have another Darcy, so I'll just use our Subtlety right now, just to slow them down. We will pitch an Oculus. 4 cards in the yard. We misclicked. So we misclicked. That's unfortunate. To find another land. Just go Oracle. Flare of Denial is good. We play our land and say go. Very unfortunate about the Subtlety. This is our graveyard here. We can block the Darcy. We have a flare up, and we could go Oculus next turn if we use it. They do shock in a Steam Fence. They consider. Do we care about that? Probably not. We'll just try to use our counter magic for their creatures. Like a Slick Shot show off. So next turn we could cast the Oculus. Easily block the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Unless they boarded in some unholy heat. We'll just surveil. Stern Scolding. Yeah, I don't think we need that anymore. Opponent could flashback their Faithless, looting, sink into Stupor. Just go Oculus. We will get rid of Misty, Stern Scolding, Polluted Delta, and a Subtlety. And we have to see, do we want to play the Sink into Stupor as a land? I don't think so. Can just sit back now. We could block the Darcy. They do have that maximize velocity thing in the yard. We will take the Endurance to flip it next turn. Maximize velocity is a sorcery, so they would have to use it already. They shock in the Steam Vents, alright. Play a Manamorphose. Go red-blue. Manamorphose again. It's their second spell. Might go Faithless Looting, discarding a Phoenix. Go blue-blue. Sink into Stupor. Not sure whether they play that. A Murktide, alright. It's no problem. Three, 4, 5. Could be an 8/8. Could just sink that. Could flip our Endurance anytime after that. Opponent only exiles 2 instants, so it will be a 5/5. Could have a Lightning Bolt in hand. They do cast a Maximize Velocity on their Murktide Regent, okay. That's fine. So that becomes a 7/7 with haste. That is perfectly fine. We will just sink it next turn. We will block the Darcy. You can take the hit. They do have an Arclight Phoenix in the yard. Okay, didn't see that. So we will take 10 this turn. That's okay. Block the Darcy. Could have gone after the Phoenix, but go down to 5. Do find a land. Could flip Endurance. Don't think that's really useful. Could have a Spell Pierce. I think we should just hit them with our Manifest. Sink the Murktide. We could block the Phoenix. Just play our breeding pool tapped and sink the Murktide. We will manifest. And we find a channeler, that's good. So let's see. We have 2 blockers. They cast the Murktide again. No, they don't. Opponent is exiling cards out of their own graveyard. Might not even need the endurance. No instants or sorceries, so it will be a 3/3. Okay. No attackers. Subtlety. So we could flip the Aether Channeler. Return Murktide. Or we flip the Endurance. So they can't cast the Murktide again after we bounce it. They might want to double block the Oculus. No, nothing happens because the manifests don't enter. Could just try to go to combat with Endurance and then flip it. Destroy one of their creatures. If they don't block, we don't have to flip it. Block with their Murktide. Let's flip. Still have a Subtlety online, Pitching or Oracle. Murktide is dead. Okay. Let's go to their turn. Manifest Dread. Just take the land. Pass. Opponent plays a Cory Steelcutter. They could play Fateless Looting. Could flash it back, so they have a 2/2 Hasty Trampler. Sure. Could just block that, no worries. Oh, become a 3/3. No, 2/2. Okay. And they scoop it up. We are on the draw. We have 2 lands, Force of Negation, 2 Oculi. Yeah, let's keep. To find a Birthing Ritual, ideally. So we'll probably lead on the Thunder. Trap Trainer. We're up against Zoo. Our opponent surveilled the planes into their yard. Alright. Let's see. Draw another Ice Fang Quaddle. Just pass the turn. Might get hit by a hasty Ragavan here. Opponent just skips a turn, alright. We will surveil. Edge Maze. Boseiju, yeah, let's keep. We will just shock in the breeding pool. After our opponent fetches, we will use Boseiju and otherwise the Ice Fang Quaddle. Opponent is fetching. Basic Mountain. That's good. So in their draw step we will Boseiju the Leyline. Opponent is currently on 3 colors. Didn't find a blue source. Plays a Flooded Strand. And shocks in a Steam Fence. Casts a Fable. We will force that. Probably exiling an Oculus. Find a Polluted Delta. I think we should go Thunder Trap Trainer, trying to find a Birthing Ritual. Yep, we find one. Okay, we will pass the turn. Likely surveilling again. Or we could fetch a basic forest. In case we find a Harbinger off of our Birthing Ritual. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand and a Flage, probably killing our trainer. Yep. So we have 4 cards in the yard. Could try to surveil another into the yard. Opponent could Flage next turn. If we could find another land, we could go Birthing Ritual. Ice Fang. Harbinger is nice. We'll just cast that. Takes off of green mana, but I think it's worth it against Zoo. Opponent is fetching though. Probably getting a Plains. No, they're surveilling. Their Plains is already in the yard. Okay, this might be devastating to our opponent. Zoo doesn't run well or domain on 2 colors. Could have a Bolt though. Could have a Tribal Flames. Yep, they do have Bolt. Then we will likely go Oculus next turn. Have an Arena of Glory too, so they could haste the Flage. There it is. So we will take 12 down to 4. Opponent goes to 24. Let's see what we draw here. Another Oculus. I think we should just go Oculus and double block the Flage, although they might shoot our manifest token. Bit strapped for land here. Let's see, we'll go Shardless Agent. Opponent shoots our manifest token. We'll just block with our Oculus. Hopefully drawing a land now and not a fetch land. Could bounce the Flage. And we could take 3 in the process. I think that's our best bet here. Opponent could have a Tribal Flames, a Bolt. We would be dead anyway. They could also have a counterspell, Stubborn Denial. To find another land. So at the beginning of combat we will try to sink into stupor this Flage. See whether our opponent has a Stubborn Denial. They do. Alright, we're dead. So we're up against Zoo. We got a bit mana screwed there. I think we should go get an Endurance, another Harbinger. Let's get the Mystical Disputes and the Force of Vigor against Ley Lines and Scions. We will go down 2 Shardless Agents. One Channeler. Well, maybe keep the Channeler. Could bounce a Ley Line. Maybe 1 Force or 2 Force of Negations. And a Pond Prophet. We need some green cards to pitch to a Force of Vigor. Let's just run it like this. We will be on the play, no lands. Again, no lands. Do find 2 lands now. Have a Birthing Ritual. Probably go down 1 Endurance, 1 Subtlety. Keep this. Kind of have to. We'll Surveil turn 1. Hopefully find another land. Opponent surveils. Let's open their graveyard. Surveils a Wrath of the Skies into the yard, okay. Not sure why they boarded that in. Hedge Maze. Sink into Stupor, yeah, we'll keep that. I think we will just shock this in. Play an Ice Fang Quaddle. Draw a card. Coiling Oracle, that's nice. Pass to our turn. Passes the turn, alright. We find a Subtlety. I think we should just attack here. See what our opponent does. Could go Birthing Ritual, but I'd rather try to ramp into another land. We will pay 2 life, we will play our Boseiju and cast the Birthing Ritual. Let's see what we get. Opponent is fetching. Basic Plains, might go Leyline Binding. We will just get another Ice Fang Quaddle. Probably replacing the tapped one. Draw a card, find a land, alright, pass. Opponent fetched the plains in case we would go with a Harbinger, but is making it hard to find domain here. Plays an Arid Mesa. Might cast a Flage, we could subtlety that, or just let it happen. Opponent just passes, alright. Let's see. Go Leyline Binding. Probably on our Birthing Ritual, and that's okay, because we have Brazen Borrower. We will just go to attacks. Swing for 2 here. Now we could hold up subtlety. We could always return the Leyline Binding. I think that might be best. So we'll just play a Breeding Pool tapped and pass the turn here. Opponent doesn't have green mana for a Kavu. Cannot play a Zion. Let's find a trio now. There's Zion. We'll just subtlety that. They might... oh no, they cannot go Stubborn Denial. Zion is out of the way. Puts it on top of their library. Just attack. Opponent down to 10. We could go Thunder Trap. We won't pay for the Offspring. See what we get here. Maybe another Ritual. Yep. Also go with a Sink into Stupor. Deal our opponent another 5. I think the Birthing Ritual is better. Let's see what we find. We find an Oculus. So we will sack the Coiling Oracle. Putting an Oculus in play. We'll manifest. Go with another Oculus. Pass the turn. Or pass priority. Flage. Sure, that's fine. Think they are dead. They are going after the subtlety. Okay. That's fine. Opponent is gonna take 8 and 9 damage next turn. They shock in Sacred Foundry. Could bounce the Leyline Binding or the Scion of Draco. Let's bounce the Scion, getting in for some damage here. You already have a ritual in play. Could flash in this Brazen Borrower. Let's see, Hedge Maze, sure. Opponent scoops it up, alright. Could bring in some consigns against Scion. Might work. I think we'd rather have some creatures. Let's just pass or submit this. We have 3 lands, Birthing Ritual, and a Trainer. Yeah, let's keep. Can't deal with a turn 1 Ragavan or turn 2 Ragavan. Find another ritual. Just play the Misty and pass. Subtlety would have been nice. Opponent might go for a Scion, turn 2 Scion. Fetches. Needs red and blue. There it is. Goes with a Kavu, alright. 5/5 Kavu. Try to surveil here. Coiling Oracle is nice. We'll have to shock this in. Go Coiling Oracle. See what we get. Thunder Trap Trainer. We do have a Flare of Denial up. So we could hold on to this Oracle as well. Take 5. Think we should. Think we should. Opponent is discarding a Sacred Foundry. Sure, we will take 5. Next turn we should try to go Ritual. Hopefully we will pick up a land. There's a Scion. Yeah, I think we have to flare that. Unfortunately, losing our Oracle. Alright. Find another land. We'll just go Thunder Trap Trainer. Find another Birthing Ritual. Play a Synced into Stupor tapped. And pass the turn. We have another Flare of Denial. Could try to take another 5. Opponent wins a Wrath of the Skies. We won't block. Next turn we will go Birthing Ritual. Hopefully. Opponent passes. Brazen Borrower is a nice pickup. Let's try to cast this. Stubborn Denial, sure. Then we will could put another blocker into play. Go Brazen Borrower. Just try to cast another Birthing Ritual. We're down to 4. It's pretty low. Let's try to attack. Opponent goes Leyline Binding. We're dead. GG.